invitation to gather. O beautiful star of Bethlehem, shining afar through shadows dim, giving the light for those who long have gone, guiding the wise folk on their way, unto the place where Jesus lay. O beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawns. Give us a light to guide the way unto the land of perfect day. O beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on. We gather this day ever in the light of Bethlehem star. Bethlehem star in the world invites all to gather around Christmas' gift. Christmas tide is past, and we walk into the light of a new season, the season of Epiphany, of revelations, of God sightings. May we experience the divine presence with us and in us, and may we also be a light for our world as we proclaim and renew our journey. We join our voices now in the prayer Jesus taught, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to New England Congregational Church on this Epiphany Sunday. It is good to be together with you here in this place. A special welcome to those who may be guests with us. Please take a moment and sign the friendship register located in your pew before passing it to your neighbor. Join us in the narthex following the service for coffee and conversation. Whether you're joining us in person or online, we are very glad that you're here today. A big thank you to our liturgist, musicians, greeters, ushers, office volunteer. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please take a look at the announcements listed in your bulletin. This Friday, join us for the film The Queen in our theater at 7 p.m. On Saturday, Women's Circle of Friends will meet at 9:30 a.m. for breakfast and bunco. I have no idea what bunco is, but people seem excited about it. Please sign up for this event on the website or in the office. To join a group from New England Church for the acclaimed soloist Robert Sims at an upcoming concert at Aurora University on January 19th, please sign up in the marketplace or online. This will be a wonderful program of spirituals. And now, remember that no matter who you are or where you are on your journey of life or faith, you are very welcome here. Please share a sign of greeting with your neighbors as our children come forward.
Actually kind of delicious too.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's really, really nice to see you here today. Did you guys have a good Christmas?
Yes.
Did anyone get coal in their stockings? No. Were you disappointed?
Yes.
Cold candy, all right, that's great. Well, this morning is a special Sunday, but it's probably one that you don't know a whole lot about. It's called Epiphany Sunday. Can you say that with me? Epiphany Sunday. That's right. On Epiphany Sunday, we celebrate the arrival of 3 very special guests that came to visit Jesus. Does anyone know who? The 3 wise men. That's right. Does anybody, for extra credit, does anyone know their names? No one? All right, we're going to repeat after me again. Casper.
Casper.
Melchior.
Melchior.
Balthazar.
Balthazar.
Those are the names that tradition gives the 3 wise men. The story tells us that they followed what did they follow? A star, that's right. And they ended up in Bethlehem where they saw Jesus and they gave him special presents. Who can name one of the special presents? Gold? Frankincense? Yes. Myrrh. 3 things that most of us have no idea what they are. Gold, most people have an idea what it is, but may not have any of it. Frankincense is a smelly kind of incense that you light, and it makes a really nice smoke that smells good, so people use it in churches or in temples or in other places. And myrrh is a kind of spice that is used as an ointment for people. So that's what is going on there. For hundreds of years, Christians like us have remembered these 3 visitors by chalking the doors of their homes or churches. So this year, we are going to chalk the doors of our church. And then we're going to say a special blessing so that all the people who enter our church this year feel welcome. How does that sound? Good. I brought chalk, and we are going to go back to the back where we're going to chalk the doors. Let's go.
Yeah. Me and my brother got 4 Christmases.
Wow.
2 of my
4
grandpas,
Christmases.
1 of my grandmas, and 1 of my
That's a lot of Christmases.
I don't know.
Wow. All right, so you guys get to decide blue or white.
Blue.
All right, let's see the blues. Hands. Okay, let's see the white chalk. Hands. I think the blues have it. So we're going to chalk the door. And I'm gonna go up on here because even though I'm not very tall, I think I'm still the tallest one here. I mean the tallest in this little group here. So we're gonna start with a 20. Does anyone know what 20 is for?
A milestone?
20 is because it's the year 2023. 23, that's right. Then we're gonna add C, and what might C be for? What were the names of those wise men again? Casper. All right, then we're gonna add a B. What's the B for? Balthazar, that's right. And then we're gonna add an M for the trickiest name. What's that one? Melchior.
Oh.
And then we're gonna add a 23 for the year. And these, not only are they the first letters of the names of these wise guys, they also are the initials of a special blessing that's in Latin, Christus Mansionem Benedictus. So we can also remember that if you want to. But instead of practicing that, let's all put a hand on our doors because we're gonna bless them together. All right, you ready? God of doors and homes,
God of doors and homes.
bless this house of worship now and always.
Bless this house of worship now and always.
Bless everyone who comes and goes,
Bless everyone who comes and goes.
both those who pray here regularly
Both who play here regularly
and those who are guests.
and those who are guests.
May all who enter this door
May all who enter this door
come in peace
Come in peace.
And bring joy.
And bring joy.
May all who come to this door
May all who come to this door
find welcome and love.
find welcome and love.
May the love and joy in this house
May the love and joy in this house
overflow and spread
overflow and spread
into the community and the world.
into the community and in the world.
Amen.
Amen.
I think these doors are well blessed. Thank you all for helping to bless these doors as we enter a new year. Since we're already in the narthex, I'll invite you to join your teachers here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I've decided to change what I'm going to perform today. Simply put, there's a better piece than what I chose. And this is a little bit different. This is a revivalist hymn, and I would imagine that under the tent, when it was first performed here in the United States, that people stomped their feet and clapped. So this is one of the few times when I'll say, please feel free to stomp your feet and clap along with it. Brightest and best are the stars of the morning. Dawn on our pathway, lend us your aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning. Guide where our infant Redeemer is paid. Brightest and best are the stars of the morning. Dawn on our pathway, and lend us your aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, guide where our infant Redeemer is laid. Shall we give Jesus our costly devotion, fragrance of Edom and offerings divine, gems of the mountain and pearls of the ocean, myrrh from the forest and gold from the mine. Brightest and best are the stars of the morning. Dawn on our pathway, and lend us your aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, guide where our infant Redeemer is laid. Vainly we offer each ample oblation, vainly with gifts Jesus' favor secure. Richer by far is the heart's adoration, dearer to God are the gifts of the poor. Brightest and best are the stars of the morning, dawn on our pathway, and lend us your aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, guide where our infant Redeemer is laid. Brightest and best are the stars of the morning, dawn on our pathway, and lend us your aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, guide where our infant Redeemer is laid.
Let us be together in a spirit of prayer. Even as starlight drew wise ones to the child Jesus long ago, may the light radiating from this place draw neighbors and friends, seekers and skeptics, broken ones and hurting ones, O God. For we know that a light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Even as times change, Herods threaten, earth turns. We bear witness to the light, for the true light which enlightens everyone, has come into the world. Jesus says we are the light of the world. Whether our light is little or it is raging, confident or trepidatious, may our light shine. Together, may we feed the flame, scattering the shadows of division and greed, hatred and bigotry, small-mindedness and selfishness, sorrow and sickness and need. Together, may we blaze for all to see, lighting heaven's path to peace. Amen. Hear now a reading from the Gospel according to Matthew, the 2nd chapter. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise ones from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all of Jerusalem with him. And calling together all chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for it has been written by the prophet, 'And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel.'" Then Herod secretly called for the wise ones and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out. And there, ahead of them, went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. Here ends the reading. I'm looking for a show of hands here. How many of you have seen Steven Spielberg's 1991 classic film, Hook? A few of you have seen Hook. I love that film. There's one particular scene, a conversation between the dreaded Captain Hook and his loyal lackey and first mate, Smee, that always makes me laugh. In a moment of complete seriousness, Smee tells Hook, "I have just had an apostrophe." Hook responds, "I think you mean an epiphany." Smee continues, "No, lightning has just struck my brain." And Hook quips back, "Well, that must hurt." I love that little scene, and honestly, it sheds some light on the meaning of the liturgical season of Epiphany, which begins for us today. Epiphany is about revelation. It's about light illuminating the mystery of God's promised one. It's a lightning strike to the brain that originated in Bethlehem with the birth of Jesus. Friday was the 12th day after Christmas, the feast of the Epiphany. I won't bother asking how many of you celebrated Epiphany because I asked that in first service and no one had. But I see some people saying yes. So, how many of you celebrated Epiphany? Wonderful, you are well represented here today. That is great. Traditionally, this is our celebration of the arrival of the Magi from the east with their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh for the infant Christ. There are, however, more than a couple of inconsistencies in the way the church typically portrays this scene. And I'd like to begin by exploring those in just a little more detail. Firstly, the Magi were not kings. Per the description in Matthew's Gospel, it's more likely that the Magi were astronomers from the east, possibly Persia. They knew how to track stars and assigned special meaning to the astrological phenomena they observed. We don't know that the Magi were all men, and we certainly don't know that there were 3 of them, despite the tradition. Secondly, while they make a beautiful addition to our nativity scenes, to our Christmas pageants, to our storybook retellings of the Christmas story, the Gospels make no connection between the Magi and the stable. In Luke's Gospel, the nativity story with stable, angels, and shepherds ends when the shepherds return to the fields. In Matthew's Gospel, there is no stable. There is just a child in a house. The Gospels of Mark and John make no mention of Jesus' birth at all. So our classic Christmas story of stable and angels, shepherds and wise men is usually and actually a combination of 2 different stories of Jesus' birth. One from the Gospel according to Matthew and the other from the Gospel according to Luke. Thirdly, there's a lot of speculation, in some circles at least, as to the meaning of the Magi's gifts. Some say that gold symbolized Jesus' future kingship, that frankincense, a valuable substance offered to God as a burnt offering, represented Jesus' divinity, and myrrh, a burial ointment, foreshadowed Jesus' death and resurrection. I, however, tend to think that there's not much to be gained by assigning symbolic values to the Magi's gifts. They were, however, all very expensive gifts, suggesting that our Magi were people of means, and they intended to honor Jesus with costly, albeit impractical, gifts. There's a popular meme that suggests that if there had been 3 wise women instead of 3 wise men, they would have asked for directions, arrived on time, helped deliver the baby, brought practical gifts, cleaned the stable, made a casserole, and there would be peace on earth. But that's not how the story goes. Instead, our Magi simply follow a star, end up in Jerusalem asking the wicked puppet king Herod for directions to the new king. Herod wasn't happy. A new king would be a threat to his ill-gotten power and a potentially destabilizing factor in the tenuous Judeo-Roman peace. These Magi showed up with the very worst possible news for Herod. But Herod was shrewd. He inquired of the priests and the scribes as to where the Messiah was to be born, and when he learned that it was Bethlehem, a tiny village only 9 miles away, he told the Magi to return with news so that he too could travel and pay tribute to the new king. The Magi followed the star until it stopped over the house where Jesus was, Matthew tells us. They were overjoyed. After presenting Jesus with their gifts, they wisely returned home by a different route, avoiding another meeting with the treacherous Herod. Admittedly, even without a stable, shepherds, or angels, Matthew's story is still a really good story. But at its core, it's not a story about the Magi. It's a story about Jesus. Matthew's Magi had a revelation about Jesus, the first of several similar revelations that mark the season of Epiphany. If nothing else, they knew he was special. The revelation of the Magi is significant for several reasons, but chief among them is the simple fact that our Magi were neither Jewish nor Christian. Instead, Matthew probably envisioned Persian sages, Zoroastrians, faithful to an ancient monotheistic religion that predates both Christianity and Judaism. The Magi didn't convert to Judaism as Jesus' parents were. And they certainly didn't become Christians because Christianity didn't exist yet. But they did recognize something special that had happened with the birth of Jesus, something that was worth traveling over 1,000 miles to see firsthand. They had an epiphany, a revelation, and they followed the light of that shining star all the way to Bethlehem. In the religiously diverse and divided world of the 21st century, this story paints a hopeful picture of what can happen when we throw off the labels that divide people into religions and political categories, us and them. It illustrates what can happen when we find beauty, depth, and consolation in the faith of another person, even another religion, without betraying our own faith. It reminds us that the miracle of Christmas is meant to be experienced firsthand. Epiphany is the season of light. And so may the light of Christmas, the light of hope, peace, joy, and love shine on each of us this new season, even from unexpected places. And may we each experience a fresh revelation, a new epiphany of God with us and with our world. Amen.
as wise folks of old brought these gifts before the child Jesus, so we bring our gifts this day. We dedicate them and ourselves to furthering Jesus' dream and heaven's realm on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.
And now, dear friends, go forth, walking in the light of God. And may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious unto you. May God look upon you with love and give you peace this day and all your days. Amen.